we started noticing that Asians in the comments were fighting. They were all debating like, oh, he's Korean. No, he's Vietnamese. No, he's Chinese, right? And during that time, it wasn't like here in Hawaii. Like, everybody in the mainland was way more segregated as far as Asians go. You didn't date outside of, if you're hanging with Chinese, you're just dating Chinese, Koreans with Koreans, right? This was like 90s, early 2000s. And then so one of our missions was like, let's not even say what ethnicity we are. Because I want to just tell everybody I'm, Asian American, and let's put that forth and create a new identity behind this whole construct, because you don't want to bring the beef back from your parents and grandparents to America, right? Because like, it's like, why? We're gonna live here. None of us is going back, quote unquote, right? Like we were born here.
Yeah.
So why bring that back? And then knowing about Hawaii and the Asian mixtures here, I thought that was the future of California. And I said, right now people be fighting because of what their grandpa told them. Yeah. If you're Korean, you don't like Japanese, whatever, right?
Yeah, I remember seeing that clip on Just Kidding News where you went to a friend's house when you were young and they kicked you out because you were Japanese and the grandma was Korean, right?
Yeah, I couldn't do a sleepover with them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You would never see that here.
Right? Because it's such a different vibe here. Yeah. And then knowing that, I think I saw the future of Southern California, or just California in general, or Asian American culture. And then so we said, so Italy v. Color was one of my biggest inspirations, right? And I was like, I love that comedy because it was the comedy that I grew up in, Black and Mexican neighborhood, right? I didn't really connect with Saturday Night Live. I didn't get, white humor. I didn't get it at all. And so I think a lot of minorities gravitated toward Black entertainment growing up because it was either that or you had, mainstream pop culture.
Yeah. Seinfeld. And
exactly.
Them, yeah.
And I think just the words that they use, all that stuff, I just couldn't get the jokes or even understand the culture. So we wanted to create something for the Asian community. And I think that was the thing of having a mission just beyond me and like trying to contribute to a cultural phenomenon, and that really propelled me to like apply myself more at school, do this because it was all geared toward like building this massive project.
Wow. And then it makes so much sense when I think back to my childhood growing up, watching the inception of YouTube, Ryan Higa, Kim Jumba, all those things, and the Just Kidding films, Wong Fu. Those are the ones I grew up watching.
Yeah, that was a good era, man.
It was my favorite era. I always try to make my girlfriend watch it because she didn't grow up with watching those YouTube videos. But me, my family, my friends, we would all share those videos together.
Yeah.
Because there was, like you said, there was nothing that represented Hawaii until Ryan Higa came.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, he was still Asian American, right? He wasn't Hawaiian.
Yeah.
So, like, there was nothing we could really relate to. There wasn't, like, a Hawaiian YouTuber. So, for me, I gravitated to all the Asian Americans.
Yeah.
That's why I grew up watching all your guys' videos. And see, I loved it when everybody collaborated, when you or Bart would show up in another video, like a Wong Fu video, or, like, somebody from one of the Wong Fu cast will show up in one of your videos.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought that was so cool. And how it was so cool because there's a sense of community and collaboration, which I love.
I think we got so lucky that other YouTube community, like YouTube in like groups, right? Like there'll be like the makeup group or like there's different segments. There's always drama. I feel so grateful that in our era of even 10 years straight or more, there's no beef. Like there's no drama with Asian American like YouTubers. And everyone worked with each other. And even if you did, like you just put it aside to like push the same goal. It was like this unwritten law about like there's nothing for us, so let's not mess this up. By being selfish or petty or whatever. And everyone just worked with each other. And one of the best feelings were like a lot of the culture clubs all over the US would hire us to come talk or do do shows or whatever, right? And when you're on the lineup with other people that you know that are doing it too, and then you just out there partying, and it's like, it was a really fun time. Yeah. And I think it connected us to the world, because every English speaking country that I've been to, like Australia, Canada, all these people that were watching, it was like we were sharing this together. Just a couple of years ago, I was in the Czech Republic, and there's a massive Vietnamese community there. And I was shocked that like people there were like, yo, I grew up watching your stuff, man. It was like, there was nothing for us. So I think like seeing the numbers doesn't do the same effect as seeing the human being and then hearing their stories and how it affected them. I think that was like one of the most rewarding accomplishments, I think. Yeah.
100%. That's how I feel doing this podcast. When I go out in public and I see a local brother or sister saying, I love what you're doing for the Lahui, for our people.
That's
I'm
it.
like, I didn't even mean to do that. Yeah. I just wanted to talk to cool people and, at the beginning, promote this, drive people to the Hawaii store. That's the only thing I had in mind. But now we get to inspire people, and it's the coolest feeling ever when you put out something in the world and people relate to it and they love it.
Yeah, I think when there's something missing out there and you're just like, man, there needs to be something like this, and then you're the one to do it, a lot of the times, a lot of people were like, thanks, because I wanted something like that, So during a time when a lot of Asian comedians, the only way they could survive was cater their jokes to the mainstream publics, right? So like, they're not our inside cultural jokes. So I think the reason why people from Hawaii all the way to like Australia can understand a lot of our jokes is because there's like this common trope understanding of like, there's this universal like, yeah, we all get our asses handed to from our parents, but we know how to flip that and make that funny so we don't live with trauma,
Yeah, it's you replace a rice paddle with a belt, with a slipper, with a whatever it is, right?
Yep, we all been there. Yeah. Yeah, and it's just funny because it's like, yeah, we get it.
Yeah, definitely. So at what point did you realize that you could make this into a career?
I've always wanted, when it started to generate like something like views and stuff, I think I always wanted to make it a career. But one of the things about me is that during the time when I was doing college and I was actually crushing it, I felt like, I needed to prove to myself and finish this, because I felt like all my life I was an idiot. Like I kept telling myself that. My teachers would call my parents and say like, this guy needs special school. So I was like, well, maybe I am disabled or whatever it is, and I'm a slow learner. Who knows, right? And it was one of those things to just accomplish it and to graduate and to finish it. So that was one. Another thing was my partner at the time. For the channel, he wanted to be a doctor. So he's like, this is just a side thing. He goes, I'm going to be a physician. Like, I'm not trying to be a YouTuber. And I was like, but the whole channel's built on us being a duo, right? And then this article comes out on Yahoo about how much these YouTubers make. This was during the time with Michelle Phan, Kev Jumba. They were making the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, everyone doesn't even question how much you can make on YouTube. People are making 30, 40 mil, right? But that time, I was like, $100,000, bro. Like that's 50 for you, 50 for me. We could live off of that.
Doing what you love.
That's all we wanted to do. And luckily, the economy went to shit during that time. After we graduated, we thought we were going to land these jobs with our degrees. And then I ended up going back to what I did before college, which is work in shipping, $12 an hour, coordinating shipping, moving boxes, calling the truck, whatever. And my buddy was tutoring kids. And we were just like, man, this isn't how it's supposed to be. Like, we had degrees. Like, we're supposed to land. We thought, hey, I got a degree. I could walk into it, kill an interview, and then get hired. But what was happening was all these other overqualified people were taking entry-level jobs. So I was like, if the world's going to be like this, right? Fuck it. Like, why don't we just try YouTube. Let's just do it. During that time, my buddy, his wife now, but his girlfriend was like, I support you guys. I'll work and support him. And then so he could just tutor part-time. He'll work on the channel 7 days a week. After I get off work, I'll go meet him up and we'll write and we'll shoot every weekend. And that was the goal until I paid off my debt and went completely full-time YouTube. Yeah.
Hey, what a cool story. It's inspiring. I'm listening to that and I'm imagining some sort of movie documentary going on inside of my head. That's awesome. I'm
skipping a lot, but yeah, you know, it's like that's basically how we gain the courage. Like nothing happens overnight. It was a long process, bro. Like it was a lot of ups and downs and like
definitely. Yeah. I was just thinking that last night because I got home last night. I had to go meet Daniel to pick up some shirts and whatnot. So I got home at 1. I was like, man, success doesn't happen overnight. No. It's the late nights, like early morning, long days. All of that just compile into the success. And like a lot of times people just see the successes on social media, right? Yep. YouTube, the millions of views, but they don't see the work. Like hearing this, I'm like, dang, you had a crazy life just to get where you're at.